The city's evening lights glimmered through the tall windows of the Pierce penthouse, casting geometric shadows across its minimalist design. Kana Pierce secured a delicate platinum necklace around her neck, the cool metal a reminder of her mother's quiet strength. The mirror reflected a woman whose polished exterior concealed years of unspoken pain. "Hudson called again," said Rosa, their longtime housekeeper. "He wants to make sure you're not running late." "Tell him." "I'll be there in 30 minutes, Kana replied, reaching for her earrings. Traffic permitting. Tonight's charity gala marked the opening of Hudson's annual Innovation Summit, the crown jewel in his venture capital empire. As she slipped into her heels, Kana mentally rehearsed the role she'd play: the supportive, elegant wife whose presence completed the picture of Hudson's success. Across town, Hudson Pierce navigated the gallery-like venue with practiced ease. At 45, he'd mastered the art of commanding a room, a skill that had built his reputation as one of New York's shrewdest investors. Hudson, the setup looks incredible," said James Chen, head of the city's tech consortium. "Yukon Group is sending their entire executive team tomorrow. Impressive pull." Hudson's smile revealed perfect teeth. "They're finally ready. To talk partnerships. 6 months of courtship about to pay off. Always the closer?" James laughed, clinking glasses. But when Hudson spotted Kana entering the hall, something flickered across his face. Something between guilt and longing. Their eyes met briefly before he turned back to his conversation. An hour later, Kana stood beside a large abstract sculpture, observing the room. These events had become a familiar choreography. Hudson working the crowd while she engaged in pleasant, forgettable conversations with the spouses of his business associates. "He's quite remarkable," said a woman beside her, gesturing toward Hudson. "My husband says your foundation's charitable giving has doubled this year." "We try to balance profit with purpose," Kana replied automatically. "It must be wonderful being married to someone so driven." Kana's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Wonderful, yes, and occasionally distant." By 11, the crowd had thinned. Hudson approached her, loosening his tie. "Ready to head?" I've got early meetings." The ride to their penthouse passed in familiar silence. Once home, Hudson immediately checked his phone while their chef served a late dinner. "The Albrecht proposal looks promising," Hudson said between bites. "If we structure it right, returns could hit 20% in the first year." Kana stirred her soup, the spoon making soft circles. "And the humanitarian aspect. Clean water initiatives in 3 countries, good PR, tax advantages." He glanced up. "Is something wrong with the soup?" "No," Kana said softly. "Just thinking about the hospital children we visited last month." Hudson's expression softened momentarily. "That was difficult for you, I understand." Did he, though? 3 years ago, they'd lost their unborn daughter to a congenital heart defect. The doctors had explained it couldn't have been detected early enough to save her. Hudson had grieved briefly, then thrown himself into work with renewed intensity. Kana had carried the loss alone, watching as her husband built walls of wealth and success around his pain. As Hudson continued describing his next venture, Kana noticed a receipt that had fallen from his coat pocket onto the entryway table. Her eyes caught unfamiliar details: lakeside cabin, Whitefish, Montana, and a substantial sum for a 3-night stay. Hudson had mentioned no business trips to Montana. Later, after Hudson had retreated to his office, Kana retrieved the receipt. The dates coincided with a business emergency last month when he'd abruptly canceled their weekend plans. She turned the paper over and froze at the handwritten note. "A perfect escape for us. Can't wait until next time. A cold knot formed in Kana's stomach. In 7 years of marriage, secrets had accumulated like dust in untouched corners. But this felt different. As she placed the receipt in her desk drawer, a determination sparked within her. She would uncover the truth, whatever it might reveal. Monday morning greeted Kana with the steady rhythm of New York rain against the penthouse windows. Hudson had already left for work, his side of the bed cold and undisturbed. She sat at her desk, the Montana receipt before her, and opened her laptop. A search for Lakeside Cabin, Whitefish, Montana, revealed an exclusive property rental company. 3 calls later, and one carefully constructed story about planning a surprise anniversary, Kana had confirmed Hudson's reservation had been for 2 people, though no second name was recorded. "Would you like to book again, Mrs. Pierce?" asked the friendly receptionist. "The Aspen cabin is quite popular." "Not yet," Kana replied. "Did my husband happen to mention if he enjoyed the lake views?" "Oh yes, he specifically requested the cabin with the best view. Ms. Alberta apparently loves watching the sunset over the water." Alberta. The name settled like a stone in Kana's chest. She thanked the woman and ended the call, hands slightly shaking. At noon, Kana called Hudson's assistant. "Dakota. I need to drop off Hudson's passport for his upcoming trip. Would he be available around 2? He's in meetings until 4, but I can leave his office unlocked if you want to drop it off," Dakota offered. "Perfect." Hudson's corner office occupied the 35th floor of a sleek downtown tower. The space reflected his exacting standards: minimal decoration, maximum function, with floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the city he'd conquered. "Mrs. Pierce?" Dakota smiled, rising from her desk. "I'll get you some coffee while you wait." "No need," Kana said warmly. "I have another appointment. I'll just leave this on his desk." Once alone in Hudson's office, Kana moved quickly. His computer required a password, but his tablet, often left unlocked for quick reference, sat charging on his desk. Several swipes revealed his email, calendar, and message history. No explicit messages to anyone named Alberta, but there were calendar entries marked simply A, dinner, and A, weekend planning. The dates aligned with evenings when Hudson had worked late. A text notification interrupted her search. "Looking forward to lunch tomorrow. Need update on Montana property investment." Kana took a photo of the screen with her phone. As she set the tablet down, a file on Hudson's desk caught her eye. Project Heartbeat, Financial Assessment. Her breath caught. She flipped it open to find a detailed analysis of a medical technology startup. The heading read, "Early Detection System for Congenital Heart Defects, Investment Viability Report." The conclusion was highlighted. In red, "Insufficient market size and extended timeline for FDA approval make ROI projections inadequate. Recommendation, pass." Kana stared at the document, her mind racing back to the hospital room where they'd lost their daughter. The doctor's words echoed, "If only we could have detected it sooner." And Hudson had rejected investment in technology that could prevent others from experiencing the same loss, all because the profit margins weren't attractive enough. "Mrs. Pierce," Kana startled. Dakota stood in the doorway, looking concerned. "Sorry," Kana composed herself. "Just leaving him a note as well." She scribbled something quickly, then smiled at Dakota. "Thank you." That evening, Kana made a phone call to Dr. Virginia Winters, the lead researcher named in the rejected proposal. "Dr. Winters, my name is Kana Pierce. I'd like to discuss your congenital heart defect detection technology." "Mrs. Pierce," Dr. Winters sounded surprised. "Your husband's firm already declined our proposal." "And I'm not calling on behalf of my husband or his firm," Kana replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "I'd like to meet independently. This project, it matters to me personally." The next morning, Kana sat across from Dr. Winters in a modest university office. The doctor was younger than Kana had expected, early 40s with practical clothes and intelligent eyes that assessed Kana carefully. "Our technology uses advanced ultrasound combined with AI pattern recognition," Dr. Winters explained, spreading diagrams across her cluttered desk. "Current methods detect only 50% of congenital heart defects before birth. Our approach could raise that to 95%. "What's preventing development?" Kana asked. "Money," Dr. Winters said bluntly. "We need $1.8 million for the next phase of testing. The big firms want quick returns. Medical technology takes time, and navigating regulations adds years to profitability. Kana nodded slowly. What if I told you? I might be able to secure that funding. I'd ask what your interest is, Dr. Winters said. This isn't exactly a glamorous charity project for socialites. 3 years ago, Kana said, meeting the doctor's eyes, I lost my daughter to an undetected heart defect. And yesterday, I discovered my husband rejected your proposal because it wouldn't make enough money. She took a breath. Some things matter more than returns on investment. Dr. Winters studied her for a long moment. You're serious about this? Completely. But there's one condition. Hudson can't know about my involvement. Not yet. Though why the secrecy? Kana thought about the Montana receipt, the text messages, the years of emotional distance. Let's just say I'm reassessing many aspects of my life right now. Will you work with me? Dr. Winters extended her hand. Mrs. Pierce, I think this could be the beginning of something important. As Kana left the university building, her phone chimed with a message from Hudson. Working late tonight, don't wait up. She typed back, okay, and then added a new contact to her phone, Dr. Virginia Winters. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in years, Kana felt something long dormant stirring within her. Purpose. The prototype's failing again, Dr. Winters said, pushing away from the lab bench with a sigh. 3 months had passed since Kana's first visit to her office, and they'd established a makeshift lab in an unremarkable Brooklyn building, far from the venture capital circles Hudson frequented. Kana looked up from her laptop, where she'd been reviewing financing options. What's happening this time? False positives. We're detecting abnormalities that aren't there. Dr. Winters gestured to the monitor displaying ultrasound images. The algorithm needs refining, but that means more computing power and more money, Kana finished. She closed her laptop. I've liquidated my personal investment portfolio. That gives us another 6 months of runway. Dr. Winters raised an eyebrow. Does your husband know about that? Hudson and I have separate finances. He monitors his empire. I manage my inheritance. Kana stood and approached the prototype, a complex assembly of ultrasound equipment connected to specialized computers. How much time would better equipment save us? 3 months? Maybe 4. Kana nodded. I'll make it happen. Later that afternoon, Kana sat in a Manhattan jewelry appraisal office, watching as an elderly man examined her grandmother's emerald necklace through a jeweler's loupe. Exquisite piece, he said, setting down his tools. Colombian emeralds, platinum setting from the 1920s. The craftsmanship is museum quality. And the value? Kana asked. Conservative estimate, $850,000. I could connect you with several serious collectors. Kana nodded. Please do. That evening, Hudson arrived home earlier than expected. Kana was at the dining table reviewing medical research papers when he walked in. You're working late, he commented, loosening his tie. Kana closed the journal. Just some foundation research. How was your day? Productive. The Yukon group is impressed with our presentation package. He poured himself a scotch. We're scheduling the final pitch for the Innovation Summit next month. That's what you've been working toward, Kana said. Hudson studied her face. You seem different lately. Different how? More engaged. You've been busy. With something. He sat across from her. The foundation taking up more of your time? A perfect cover. Yes, actually. I'm exploring a new initiative. Hudson nodded absently, already checking his phone. Just make sure you're available for the summit events. The Yukon people are traditional. They like seeing a united front. Of course, Kana replied. And how was lunch with Alberta yesterday? Hudson's fingers froze mid-text. His eyes flicked up to meet hers. Productive, he said carefully. Alberta Thompson is handling our Montana property investments. I see, Kana said evenly. On the lakeside cabins? A flicker of something, guilt, surprise, calculation, crossed Hudson's face. Among other properties, how did you know about that? I saw a receipt. Kana maintained eye contact. You never mentioned Montana investments before. Hudson set down his phone. It's a recent opportunity. The recreational property. Market there is exploding. He hesitated. I should have mentioned it. Yes, you should have. Kana gathered her papers. I have an early meeting tomorrow. Don't wait up. 2 weeks later, Kana watched as a technician installed new computing equipment in the Brooklyn lab. The sale of her emerald necklace had funded significant upgrades and accelerated their timeline considerably. Systems ready for the new algorithm, the technician said, closing a server cabinet. This processing power should handle your AI requirements. Dr. Winters looked like a child on Christmas morning. Let's run the first test. They gathered around a monitor displaying an ultrasound image of a simulated fetal heart. The new system processed the data in seconds rather than minutes, highlighting potential abnormalities with precision. Look at that resolution, Dr. Winters whispered. We're detecting microformations that current technology can't even see. Kana leaned closer. And the false positives? Down to 2.3%. That's better than any system currently available. Dr. Winters turned to her. We need real-world testing now. I've contacted colleagues at Metropolitan Hospital. They're willing to let us run parallel screenings alongside their standard tests. Will it be blind testing? Kana asked. Completely. Their doctors won't know which results come from which system until after diagnosis. Kana checked her watch. I need to go. Hudson's expecting me at a board dinner tonight. Kana, Dr. Winters called as she reached the door. We need a name for the system, for the hospital trials. Kana paused. Call it Project Heartbeat. The weeks leading up to the Innovation Summit blurred into a demanding routine. By day, Kana reviewed trial results and refined the technology with Dr. Winters. By night, she attended planning meetings for the summit, playing her expected role while carrying her growing secret. The preliminary hospital results exceeded expectations. Project Heartbeat was detecting congenital defects with 94% accuracy compared to 53% with standard methods. Lives could be saved with this technology, the very lives Hudson had deemed not profitable enough to protect. One evening, reviewing results in the lab, Dr. Winters asked the question Kana had been avoiding. What happens when the summit is over? When will you tell Hudson about this? Kana looked up from her. Notes. I've booked the closing presentation slot on the final day. That's when everyone will know. That's dramatic. It's necessary, Kana replied. Hudson needs to understand what he dismissed. The Yukon group needs to see what true innovation looks like. And after that, Dr. Winters pressed. What about you and Hudson? Kana stared at the ultrasound image on screen, a perfectly formed heart, beating steadily. I don't know, but I know this technology needs to exist in the world. And Alberta Thompson? Dr. Winters asked carefully. Alberta Thompson. Is Hudson's real estate investment partner and apparently much more, Kana said. I hired a private investigator. They've been seeing each other for 8 months. I'm sorry. Don't be. This project has given me clarity. For years, I've been living Hudson's life. Now I'm building something that matters. On my the night before the summit, Kana rehearsed her presentation in an empty conference room, her voice echoing off bare walls. Tomorrow would change everything. She felt strangely calm. Her phone rang. Hudson. Where are you? He asked. The Yukon pre-dinner started 30 minutes ago. Kana closed her presentation notes. I'm sorry. I lost track of time. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Hurry. And Kana, wear the emerald necklace. Watson from Yukon mentioned his wife loves emeralds. Kana's hand tightened around her phone. I don't have it anymore. What do you mean? We'll discuss it later, she said. That I'm on my way. The Innovation Summit transformed the downtown convention center into a showcase of wealth and ambition. Digital displays highlighted breakthrough technologies, while carefully curated lighting made everything appear more innovative than it actually was. Hudson Pierce stood at the entrance, greeting tech executives and investors with practiced warmth. At 9:15 a.m., he checked his watch for the third time. "Kana's running late?" asked James Chen, appearing beside him. "She's coming separately," Hudson replied. "Last-minute foundation business." In reality, Hudson hadn't seen Kana since their tense exchange at the Yukon dinner the night before. Her revelation about the missing emerald necklace, a family heirloom, had led to their first real argument in years. She'd refused to explain, and he'd been too preoccupied with the Yukon executives to press the issue. "The Yukon team is impressed so far," James said, lowering his voice. "Thompson mentioned the hospitality suite was remarkably thoughtful." Hudson nodded. "Dakota handled the details. She knows what works." "And what about Alberta? Will she be joining today's sessions?" "No," Hudson said quickly. "She's monitoring our Montana portfolios this week." James raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Inside the main hall, attendees moved between presentation spaces and networking areas. Hudson's opening address had set an ambitious tone. Innovation, defined by market disruption and exponential returns. Dakota approached, tablet in hand. "Your 11:30 private meeting with Yukon is confirmed. Also, Mrs. Pierce arrived. She's in the East Wing viewing the medical technology displays." "Thank you." Hudson straightened his tie. "Any word from Alberta?" "She sent the updated Montana projections. I've added them to your presentation. For this afternoon." Hudson nodded, scanning the crowd. He spotted Kana across the room, engaged in conversation with someone he didn't recognize. A woman in practical clothes who looked distinctly out of place among the polished summit attendees. Before he could approach, Thompson from Yukon intercepted him. "Pierce, just the man I wanted to see. Talk to me about these efficiency projections." By the time Hudson freed himself, Kana and the unknown woman had disappeared. The day progressed through presentations, panel discussions, and strategic networking. Hudson's private meeting with the Yukon executives went exceptionally well, with tentative commitments for first-round funding of $50 million. Everything was aligning perfectly, except for the lingering tension with Kana. At 3:45 p.m., Hudson found her alone in the refreshment area. "We need to talk," he said quietly, "about last night." Kana sipped her water. "Yes, we do, but not now." "Where's the necklace, Kana? It's been in your family for generations." "I sold it," she said simply. Hudson stared at her. "You what? Why would you? For something that matters more than tradition or appearances." She checked her watch. "I have the final presentation slot at 5 thou. You should be there." "The schedule says that slot is reserved for the humanitarian award announcement," Hudson said, confusion evident. "Yes," Kana replied, "it is." Before Hudson could respond, Dakota appeared. "Mr. Pierce, the Yukon team is ready for your technology demonstration." Kana touched Hudson's arm. The first voluntary contact in weeks. "Go. We'll talk after my presentation." Yes, the afternoon session showcased Hudson's primary investment targets, an AI-driven financial platform, a sustainable energy solution, and a retail automation system. The Yukon executives nodded approvingly throughout, occasionally making notes. At 4:55, the summit attendees gathered in the main hall for the final presentation. Hudson sat in the front row beside Thompson from Yukon, still wondering about Kana's cryptic comments. Dakota leaned over. "Sir, there's been a change to the program. Mrs. Pierce will be presenting the humanitarian award and a special announcement." "What announcement?" Hudson asked. "She didn't provide details," Dakota replied. "Just requested the audiovisual team set up specific equipment." The lights dimmed as Kana took the stage. Hudson was struck by her confidence, a quality always present but now somehow amplified. This wasn't the supportive spouse who complimented his ambitions. This was a woman with purpose radiating from every gesture. "Good evening," she began. "The Pierce Foundation annually recognizes humanitarian innovation, technology that prioritizes human well-being over profit margins." Her eyes found Hudson's. This year's focus holds particular significance for me. A screen behind her, illuminated with a medical image, an ultrasound of a fetal heart. 3 years ago, Kana continued, her voice steady, Hudson and I lost our daughter to an undetected congenital heart defect. Current technology detects only half of such defects before birth, leaving thousands of families to face similar tragedies. Murmurs rippled through the audience. Hudson sat perfectly still, his expression unreadable. When an innovative detection system was presented to Pierce Ventures, it was rejected. Kana gestured to the screen where a financial analysis appeared, the same document she had discovered in Hudson's office months earlier. The reason, insufficient return on investment. She paused, allowing the implications to settle across the room. The Yukon executives exchanged glances. Innovation isn't measured solely by profit, Kana continued. Sometimes, its value lies in the lives it saves, the suffering it prevents, the futures it protects. With a gesture, the screen changed to display a new image, a complex ultrasound with highlighted areas and data overlays. I present Project Heartbeat, Kana said. An AI-enhanced detection system for congenital heart defects that achieves 94% accuracy compared to the current standard of 53%. The door at the back of the hall opened as Dr. Winters entered, wheeling in the actual prototype, the culmination of their months of work. This technology has completed preliminary hospital trials with remarkable success, Kana continued. It can be implemented within existing medical infrastructures and has the potential to save thousands of lives annually. Hudson's face had paled. Thompson from Yukon leaned forward, suddenly more interested in this presentation than anything they'd seen all day. The Pierce Foundation isn't just announcing this innovation, Kana said. We've fully funded its development and testing. I'd like to introduce Dr. Virginia Winters, the brilliant mind behind Project Heartbeat. Dr. Winters joined Kana on stage. The technology is ready for expanded clinical trials, she explained, her expertise evident in every word. Initial results indicate we can identify critical defects as early as 16 weeks, allowing for intervention that was previously impossible. As technical questions emerged from the audience, Hudson remained silent. His carefully constructed summit, designed to showcase profitable innovations, had been transformed into something entirely different. And his wife, the woman he'd gradually pushed to the periphery of his life, stood at the center of it all. When the presentation concluded, thunderous applause filled the hall. Several medical professionals in attendance immediately surrounded Dr. Winters, while investors, including the Yukon team, approached Kana with interest. Hudson watched from his seat as Thompson spoke animatedly with Kana. The Yukon executive was smiling, the same smile Hudson had been trying to elicit all day with profit projections and market analyses. Dakota touched his shoulder. Sir, several people are asking for your comments on Project Heartbeat. Hudson stood slowly. Tell them I'll issue a statement tomorrow. He moved against the flow of the crowd, heading for the exit. His phone buzzed, Alberta calling. He silenced it without answering. Outside in the cooling evening air, Hudson loosened his tie and took a deep breath. Behind him, the summit continued without its host, as the man who had built his life around calculating value confronted something he'd failed to measure properly, the cost of his choices. Backstage, Kana accepted a glass of water from Dr. Winters, her hand still trembling slightly from the adrenaline. Around them, the summit staff cleared equipment while curious investors lingered nearby, hoping for a private word. That was... Dr. Winters searched for the right word. Effective. Kana smiled faintly. Did you see Hudson's face? Hard to miss. He looked like someone had pulled the floor from under him. Dr. Winters hesitated. What happens now? Before Kana could answer, Dakota appeared. Mrs. Pierce. The Yukon group would like to arrange a private meeting tomorrow morning. Mr. Thompson was quite specific about wanting you to lead the discussion. Me? Not Hudson? Kana asked. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Pierce left the building about 10 minutes ago. Kana wasn't surprised. Hudson retreated when confronted, It was his pattern. Please tell Mr. Thompson I'd be happy to meet tomorrow at 9 Wang. As Dakota left, Dr. Winters studied Kana. You just stole your husband's biggest potential investor. I didn't intend to, Kana said honestly, but I won't apologize for it either. Mrs. Pierce? A summit coordinator approached. There are several reporters asking for statements about Project Heartbeat. Would you be available for brief interviews? Kana nodded. 10 minutes? Then I need to leave. The next half hour passed in a blur of questions, handshakes, and exchanged business cards. When Kana finally exited the convention center, the night air felt cool against her flushed skin. Her driver held the car door open. Home, Mrs. Pierce? Kana paused. No, take me to the Bristol first. 20 minutes later, she entered the upscale hotel bar where Hudson often conducted informal business meetings. She spotted him immediately, alone at a corner table, staring into a glass of scotch. When he looked up and saw her, his expression hardened. May I join you? She asked. Hudson gestured to the empty chair. Kana sat, declining the waiter's offer of a drink. That was quite a performance, Hudson finally said, his voice controlled. It wasn't a performance. 3 months of secret development, selling a family heirloom, blindsiding me at my own summit. His knuckles whitened around his glass. What would you call it? Necessary, Kana replied. You wouldn't have listened otherwise. You don't know that. I found the rejection document in your office, Hudson. Insufficient ROI for technology that could have, saved our daughter. Hudson flinched. Don't bring her into this. She's always been part of this, Kana said softly. While you buried yourself in acquisitions and profit margins, I was drowning in loss. That technology represents something you decided wasn't worth investing. In both the device and our grief. A heavy silence settled between them. Around them, oblivious patrons continued their evening conversations. Is this about Alberta? Hudson finally asked. Kana studied him. No, but since you brought her up, why don't you tell me the truth? Hudson exhaled slowly. It started as a business relationship. The Montana recreational property market has exceptional growth potential. Alberta specializes in luxury developments. And then it became more. Hudson met her eyes. We've been distant for years, Kana, living parallel lives. That's your justification? We grew apart. So you found someone else? Kana's voice remained steady despite the tightness in her chest. You could have talked to me. We could have tried to reconnect. Like you tried to talk to me about Project Heartbeat, Hudson countered. We both keep secrets. Kana absorbed the hit. Fair point. But my secret was about creating something meaningful. Yours was about destroying what little we had left. Hudson's phone buzzed on the table. Alberta's name appeared on the screen. He turned it face down. The Yukon group wants to meet with me tomorrow, Kana said. Without you. Hudson's jaw tightened. Thompson has always had an eye for dramatic gestures. This doesn't mean anything. It means everything is changing. Kana stood. I'm going home to pack some things. I'll be staying at the Piermont for a few days. We both need space to think. And Project Heartbeat? Moves forward with or without your blessing. The Pierce Foundation has already committed to full funding through clinical trials. The Foundation's board reports to me, Hudson said. Check the bylaws, Kana replied. As co-founder, I have equal authority over humanitarian initiatives. This qualifies. As she turned to leave, Hudson called after her. Was any of this worth it, risking everything we built? Kana looked back at him. Some things are worth more than what we built, Hudson. That's what you never understood. Back at the penthouse, Kana methodically packed a suitcase while Rosa hovered anxiously nearby. Only a few days, Mrs. Pierce? For now, Rosa. I need time to think. Mr. Pierce called. He said he's staying at the office apartment tonight. Kana nodded, unsurprised. Hudson's office building contained a fully furnished apartment for late work nights, or now, for avoiding his wife. As she zipped her suitcase, Kana's phone rang. Dr. Winters. Metropolitan Hospital called, the doctor said without preamble. They want to expand the trial immediately. 3 other hospitals have reached out after hearing about the summit presentation. That's wonderful, Kana said. There's more. An infant was identified today with a complex defect our system detected that conventional screening missed. They're scheduling corrective surgery next week. Kana, we've already saved a life. Tears sprang to Kana's eyes. Thank you for telling me. After ending the call, Kana stood at the penthouse window overlooking the city lights. The enormity of the day's events washed over her. The presentation, the confrontation with Hudson, the first life saved by their technology. Despite the uncertainty ahead, a sense of quiet purpose settled within her. For the first time in years, her path was clear, even if it led away from everything familiar. 3 weeks after the summit, Hudson Pierce sat alone in his office, reviewing the damage. The Yukon Group had withdrawn their interest in his primary ventures and instead committed $30 million to Project Heartbeat's development through a special partnership with the Pierce Foundation, specifically with Kana as the foundation's representative. Industry publications had praised the humanitarian pivot, with headlines declaring, "Pierce Foundation prioritizes lives over profits." His board members were divided, some concerned about the company's shifting focus, others excited by the positive publicity. A knock interrupted his thoughts. Dakota entered with a folder. "The quarterly reports, sir," and Mrs. Pierce confirmed she'll attend Thursday's board meeting. "As my wife or as the foundation's director?" Hudson asked. She didn't specify. Dakota hesitated. "Also, Ms. Thompson has called 3 times this morning." Hudson sighed. "Tell her I'll call back this afternoon." After Dakota left, Hudson opened his desk drawer and removed a small framed photo, an ultrasound image of the daughter they'd lost. He rarely looked at it anymore. The pain had been too raw. Now he studied it, wondering how he'd allowed himself to forget what truly mattered. His intercom buzzed. "Sir, James Chen is here for your 11 o'clock. Hudson put the photo away. "Send him in." James entered, his usual confidence somewhat subdued. "We need to talk about the Morrison deal. They're getting cold feet after the summit." "What are their concerns?" "They think we're abandoning tech investments for medical ventures. The market's confused about our direction." Hudson gestured for James to sit. "What's your assessment?" James looked surprised at being asked. "Honestly, Project Heartbeat generated more positive attention than anything we've done in 5 years. But we're venture capitalists, not medical researchers. We need a coherent strategy that incorporates both." Hudson nodded slowly. "You're right. Schedule a strategy session for next week. And James, invite Kana and Dr. Winters." "Bold move," James commented. "You sure about that?" "No," Hudson admitted, "but it's the right thing to do." Across town, Kana sat in a newly leased office space overlooking Bryant Park. The modest suite would serve as Project Heartbeat's headquarters while they expanded clinical trials. Dr. Winters occupied the adjacent office, currently filled with researchers reviewing data from participating hospitals. "The preliminary results are exceeding expectations," Dr. Winters said, entering with a tablet. "Detection rates holding at 94% with false positives under 2%. 3 more lives potentially saved this week alone." Kana smiled. "That's wonderful news. The Yukon funding accelerated everything. We can now proceed with the FDA approval process while continuing expanded trials." Dr. Winters hesitated. Hudson's office called. "He's requesting a strategy meeting next week." "To what end?" "Does integrating Project Heartbeat into Pierce Ventures, overall investment strategy." Dr. Winters studied Kana's reaction. "Will you go?" "Yes," Kana said after a moment. This was never about destroying Hudson's company. It was about creating something meaningful within it. "And personally, have you spoken with him?" "Briefly. We're being civilized." Kana turned to the window. "I'm still staying at the Piermont." "And Alberta Thompson?" "Hudson says that's over." Kana's voice was neutral. "Whether I believe him or care is another matter entirely." "Do you care, I mean?" Kana considered the question. 7 years of marriage doesn't disappear overnight. Neither does betrayal. Right now, I'm focused on Project Heartbeat. A knock at the door interrupted them. A courier delivered a small package addressed to Kana. Inside was a velvet box containing her grandmother's emerald necklace with a note. Some traditions are worth preserving. Dr. Winters raised an eyebrow. He bought it back. Apparently. Kana closed the box. An expensive gesture. Is it working? It's a start, Kana admitted, but we have a long way to go. The following Thursday, Kana entered the Pierce Ventures boardroom for the first time since the summit. Conversations hushed as she took her seat opposite Hudson. For 2 hours, they discussed quarterly results and investment strategies, maintaining professional courtesy that masked their personal strain. As the meeting concluded, Dakota distributed folders containing a new proposal. Mr. Pierce would like to introduce a strategic initiative for consideration at next month's meeting. Kana opened her folder to find a comprehensive plan for a new division, Pierce Medical Innovations. The proposal integrated Project Heartbeat while outlining additional investments in undervalued medical technologies with significant humanitarian impact. The board members filed out, leaving Kana and Hudson alone. "This is unexpected," she said, tapping the proposal. "Is it?" Hudson leaned back in his chair. "You made your point at the summit, quite effectively. This isn't about winning, Hudson. I know. It's about remembering what matters." He hesitated. "I let success become the only measure of value. I forgot why we started this company in the first place. And Alberta was a mistake. It's over." Hudson met her eyes. "I told her the day after the summit." Kana nodded, neither accepting nor rejecting his implied apology. The necklace was an extravagant gesture. "It belongs in your family. I should never have let you sell it." "I made that choice," Kana reminded him, "for something I believed in." "I understand that now." Hudson gestured to the proposal. "This is my way of believing in it too." Kana stood, gathering her things. "Pierce Medical Innovations is a good start. The board will approve." "It and us?" Hudson asked quietly. "Is there anything worth salvaging?" The question hung between them, weighted with years of shared history, recent betrayals, and uncertain future. Kana didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked to the door before turning back. "Have dinner with me tomorrow," she finally said. "Not at home, somewhere neutral. We'll talk, really talk, about what happens next." "I'd like that." As Kana left the boardroom, she felt neither triumph nor resentment, just the tentative possibility that from the wreckage of their marriage, something honest might eventually emerge. Whether that meant reconciliation or respectful separation remained to be seen. Outside, autumn leaves scattered across the company plaza. Kana paused to watch them dance in the wind, beautiful in their temporary freedom, uncertain in their destination. Much like her own journey now, her phone chimed with a text from Dr. Winters, another successful detection, another life potentially saved. In that moment, regardless of what happened with Hudson, Kana knew her own path forward was clear. Project Heartbeat would continue, lives would be saved. And somewhere in that purpose, she had rediscovered herself, not as an accessory to Hudson's success, but as an architect of meaningful change. What did you think of the story? Leave a comment and a review about this story. If you were moved and enjoyed our work, feel free to help us continue producing. I invite you to click on our link in the first pinned comment. Now 2 buttons will appear, one to subscribe, if you haven't already, and the other to watch other interesting stories. Choose one. Thank you for watching this far. See you soon.